Hey guys, welcome to the Bullet Points, where we review all sorts of outdoor equipment, camping stuff, hiking gear, and a lot of firearm stuff. Today we've got a long-awaited review. I've been wanting to get my hands on this piece of equipment for about 6 months. Fortunately, a couple months back, I had a little teaser when Chris Graham from YHM came out and showed us the ultimate upper receiver. We'll put the video for it up here in the corner. So what YHM has done here is they've taken a 300 blackout upper receiver, pinned and welded a suppressor to it, and then threw a handguard over it. So you have a one-piece, one-stamp weapon system. And just throw it on whatever lower you've got laying around. Pretty cool. Got a couple shots with it when we had Chris out. So again, Chris, thanks for that teaser. But now we've got our hands on one for a full day. So I'm going to run some rounds through this thing, tell you guys what I think about it. I would kind of equate this to the Daniel Defense ISR, which we also did a video for. We'll also post the link up here, which is one of my favorite rifles I've ever shot. Daniel Defense made an awesome setup there. I absolutely loved it. It was a purpose-built rifle that was designed around suppression. You know, a lot of guys will just throw a can on their gun and then they end up having too much back pressure. They end up having to put heavier buffers in, you know, they have to get a bolt carrier group or change their gas block out that is designed around suppressors. So the thing that I liked about Daniel Defense's was out of the box, it was ready to go. I'm very curious to see how this one operates because this is completely designed around suppression. Now we're going to go Highland Lake Supersonic and then their Subsonic back and forth. I've got 3 rounds of each. So let's give this a run and let you know what I think. Super. It is not a good day for Highland Lakes ammo. Okay guys, so now we've got both Highland Lakes, Supersonic and Subsonic back to back. So it's going to be super sub, and 3 rounds of each. Let's run this and see what the sound difference looks like. Super, sub, super, sub. That sub's pretty quiet. This thing actually muffles those subs really well. The Super's got a crack to it for sure. I mean, I'd still put it about even with a non-suppressed Ruger 1022 or something like that. A little bit of ringing in the ear with the Supers, but as far as the Subsonic goes, that thing's nice, man. It ran really well. So let's take some different kinds of ammo. I'm gonna mix them all in a magazine and just shoot and see what doesn't work, if anything. And then we'll use some Gemtech. I think we've got some Remington here, as well as some other maybe SIG or something like that. So let's see what we got and we'll run through. All right guys, we've got the Remington Super High Performance in here. So let's give these a run. My scope cap fell off, but it ran that just great. Again, Super High Performance, so those are Supersonic rounds. Quieter than the Highland Lakes actually, and ran a bit better. No feeding issues, stovepiping, or anything like that. So now we've got the Gemtech Subsonics. Man, those ran a lot quieter. Those are probably my favorite round yet today. Those things ran really quiet, not a ton of recoil, and no stovepiping or feeding issues whatsoever. I like those. All right guys, we've got the Highland Lakes 300 blackout Subsonic going through it now. That ran pretty good. No feeding issues or anything. It was just a little bit louder than the Gemtech though. We didn't bring a sound meter out. I don't get that technical with it, but according to the audio meter that they use at Silencer Shop, which is like super high end, this thing's consistently under 130 decibels. So definitely quiet enough for, you know, not needing hearing protection. Well guys, I had a really good time with the YHM Ultimate Upper. YHM did a really good job with this thing. It feels very comfortable. Looking at it, you'd think that it's very front heavy, but it's not. Because the suppressor's titanium, it adds very little weight to the very front of the gun. You know, it swings around very well, maneuverability is great, and because the barrel and suppressor are only 16 inches, it's not like you're swinging around, you know, the front hood of a Cadillac or something like that. It shot extraordinarily well. I didn't have a single failure to feed, failure to extract, failure to whatever. It ran every ammo that we ran through it, with the exception of one round of Highland Lakes ammo. It wasn't even a light primer strike. The primer was dimpled pretty good. I think it was just a bad round. So that was the only thing we had all day that didn't fire through this. It ran subs and supers very well. I even brought a separate bolt carrier group by Gemtech for that little, you know, put the little switch on there to port gases out the side, made for suppressors. Didn't even need it. Just ran with my standard bolt carrier group in here, and it chewed up everything just fine. Secondly, the handguard. Very aggressive look to it. I really like it. It's got the M-LOK set up, so you know, you're able to run whatever accessories you want on here, whether it be, you know, flashlights or forward grips or whatever else, with a full Picatinny rail across the top. So if you're running iron sights and then like my trusty little Spark 2, you could do that. Another thing about this handguard is it dissipated heat very well. I mean, I'm confident you could run probably a mag and a half, maybe even two back to back before this even gets really uncomfortably warm. I'm generally a pretty forward grip on my handguards, and after several magazines, this thing was not screaming hot. So again, it dissipates the heat very well. I love that it's 300 blackout. That's a very fun round. I love subsonic 300 blackout. I think it's fantastic for shorter hunting applications. I love that you don't have to wear ear protection. Since I started shooting with silencers, I've become very spoiled in that aspect. So I highly recommend suppressors in general, but this one was very hearing safe when running subsonics. Even with the supers, it still quieted it a ton over a normal rifle. I would compare about on par with a 1022 with no suppressor or anything like that. So a crack with a little bit of ring in your ear, but not bad. Subsonics though were fantastic. You can use whatever existing lower you have. So if you've got a stock you really like, you know, a trigger on your gun, perhaps you have, you know, some fancy lower end that you really like, you can slap this on top and turn your gun into a suppressed, you know, hog hunter all day long. I love that they put 300 blackout right here. No confusing that with a 5.56 and, you know, having a really bad day at the range. Faxon Firearms makes these little rubber bands that say 300 blackout or 5.56 or, you know, 7.62 or whatever. So I bought a bunch of those a while back, and I love putting them on the guns just so I know what goes in what, and you know, prevents any catastrophic safety issues. So anyway, just a quick shout out to them. But all in all, YHM did a really good job with this. We didn't have any cycling issues, any feeding issues. The only issue we did have was one failure to fire. Not the gun's fault. It was a primer strike. It wasn't a light primer strike. It struck it hard, but the ammo just didn't go off. So other than that, this thing ran flawlessly, quietly, and comfortably. I highly recommend this YHM. I've been waiting for it to come out for a long time, and I'd say it's absolutely worth the wait. The best price I found it for is silencershop.com. This retails for $13.99. However, Silencer Shop has it for $9.99. So make sure you cruise over to Silencer Shop and check that out. We'll put a link down below in the description. But as far as the YHM Ultimate Upper goes, I really enjoyed shooting this thing. I've told you guys before, the Daniel Defense ISR is one of my favorite rifles I've ever shot. This is a very comparable setup. It's quiet, it's reliable, it's purpose built. And if you've already got a lower that's already dressed out with the trigger you like and the stock you like and everything else, you can just slap it on there. So hats off to YHM. You guys did an awesome job on this. I really like it, and I honestly think I'm gonna pick one up for myself. So thank you guys very much. Thank you to Silencer Shop for loaning stuff out for us. And if you guys have any requests, anything you wanna see us review, torture test, or anything else, just throw it in the comments down below or shoot us an email. We'd be happy to get your feedback. Thanks very much, guys. We'll see you next time on the Bullet Points. Hey guys, if you enjoy our reviews, make sure you give a like, subscribe, and then you can follow us on both Instagram and Facebook at the Bullet Points.